everyone. It is Dr. LaTracy, and I am here with minister and author Cynthia M. Harris. And for many of you, we are not only introducing new authors, but we are expanding their reach. And so, for many of you who are just joining us now, you may or may not have ever heard Minister Cynthia, but I need you to know that if you listen to this broadcast, this is one lady that you need to be connected to. Why? Because her experiences that she has written have laid the platform for not only what you've gone through, but to know where you will be going. And so just trust the process. And I am looking forward to this interview. And so let's get started. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Tell the people who you are and what you do.
I am minister and author Cynthia Middlebrooks Harris. Originally, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Married my husband, joined the military, and never looked back. I had a very eventful childhood that changed my character and caused me to withdraw a lot from people. And it just, in the process of going through all those things, I realized there's other people who get stuck in one situation in their life, and it may take them 20, 30 years to get out of that. And it took me almost literally 30 years to get unstuck. And I knew at that point, there's got to be a way that I can get people to realize just how amazing God is without using so much scripture and make them feel like they're in church so much.
Yes.
So my life has been a whirlwind of ups and downs, ins and outs, matriarchs, patriarchs passing away, people just now all of a sudden, I found myself one of the matriarchs in my family just at 55 years old.
Mm.
And it's like, wow, people are looking at me like, well, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have grandma to call. So I realized that now it's time to begin to join my ministry on a level that's more than just local. And the best way that I knew to make the ministry local was to put it in a format where everyone would read it and feel comfortable and not feel like they are unworthy of what God can do. And fiction romance is what popped out of it.
I love that. So you found the vessel that you felt would be best to expand your global reach, and in a way where you would reach people that wasn't so churchy. How does that how does that fit with you being a minister?
Actually, it was more of a struggle than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
The minute I told my minister's peers I would be writing fiction romance, they jumped all over me. You're going to write smut. I can't believe you're going to get away from the word and begin to write this junk. All this word you're a teacher of the gospel, and you're going to waste that knowledge that you have of the Bible writing fiction. And I almost didn't write the book.
Right.
And I remembered that God said, you're not writing it for them.
Mm.
You're writing it for people who will never come to church.
Yes.
So forget them. They didn't even read it. If they would have read it, they would have known that it's not what they think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Some people actually don't even put it in a romance category. But believe me, the romance is strong.
I like that. I went through a similar situation when I wrote erotic poetry, and I was told that it was in the category of erotic poetry, but it was actually things that I had experienced. And people didn't like the fact that, being minister peers, they didn't like the fact that I was publishing it. I even had a book signing at the church. Uh,
I did
because,
too.
the people that we have to reach the people that are not coming into the church. And that's where ministry kind of falls short because
It's
we
failing.
often hear, oh, it's all about the four walls. But when COVID hit, we didn't
Hmm.
have the four walls anymore. So, what have you been doing during this COVID season to get your word out there?
COVID is actually probably, I don't mean this in a bad way, the best thing that could have happened to the church. Because you said it, we were stuck inside the
I'm so
building.
glad you said that.
It
Okay.
was all about us in the pulpit. Our entourage is coming to the conference 30 minutes late so everybody can see how grand we are. And we were self centered and we were only reaching the people in the pew.
Yes.
Now we were forced to be innovative, use social media, use live streaming, get outside of our comfort zone, get back in the street and minister to people.
Yes.
And it just, to me, it was like, yes, a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't tired of God, but I was tired of church.
Okay. Me too. I have not stepped foot back into the church uh, since what when COVID hit. And it's funny because people are like, "Well, we're back. The church is back open," and I was like, But I knew when church was open originally before COVID that I was called to marketplace ministry, and so a lot of people close the door and close the box, put themselves in a box because of God,
Yes.
yeah, or use God as the excuse. And so your books have reached the masses, and you even mentioned being married and having a military spouse. Your book is on the military campus at Keesler Air Force Base. How does
Yes.
that feel?
It feels amazing because I'm actually a veteran myself, and I met my husband right after basic training. I think I reversed that. So it feels amazing to realize that the books are there
Mm-hmm.
because there's three things that the books all tie together, and that is football, Atlanta, Georgia, and the military,
Mm-hmm.
because that's my life.
Yes.
I'm a NFL fan. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I was in the military. And actually, what was so amazing was in book four, Legitimate Issues, I got a chance to express something that was very dear to me that I didn't have a local platform to express.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when fallen soldiers come home.
Yes.
And I've been military, we line the streets in our small town. And the bodies escorted from the airport all the way through town to the local funeral home. And we line the streets, and we literally, it gets harder every time. And we would weep, and we would always be so excited when we had the motorcycle riders that would rev the engines, because believe it or not, there were protesters right outside the gate
Yes.
that would just protest so strongly against the military, not not respecting that there is a loved one that is being escorted home, that is given their all to give you the right to do what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so in legitimate issues, I got a chance to express that, because the main character, her spouse, which is an interracial relationship, which was another issue, he
Mm-hmm.
was getting ready to go back overseas. And she was in the airport seeing him off. And she was talking to a woman that would later realize was an angel that's blesses her body to hold a baby. She hadn't been able to hold one, but there was protesters behind her. And so she was talking to the woman about the protesters and that they were fighting the battle the wrong way by coming after the soldiers and their families. They should be on their Capitol hills and on their Capitol doorsteps. That's where answers happen, not protesting them. They're doing their job to give you the right to do what you do. And so the woman in the book, the protester, is pricked in her heart and realizes, wow, we really are fighting the wrong people. So I get a chance to express things in a fiction realm that are actually very nonfiction. They're real, they're happening around us, and I'm able to bring relevancy to it to show people, look, have your zeal, have your passion, but direct it at the place where results can happen. The soldiers can do nothing about what their sign raised their right hand to do, but the congressman can do something about it. So I was able to express that in the book. That was good to be able to do that.
Yay. So wait a minute. So you've mentioned, I know we have one book in the bookstore, but you have how many books?
I have six altogether. Seven. Seven. I'm working on eight. I didn't know how I could do that. I didn't know I could send more than
We'll discuss that one.
yeah.
Yes, because there's a way to have more than one of your books in the bookstore. So we're not going
Okay.
to limit you. And you know, it's a great opportunity that you came in on the front end, uh, because you know everything that's about to transpire in the bookstore and our new location and us well having multiple locations. And so, wow, I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, okay, I love the fact that you have all of these books that have relevancy to today's times.
Today.
Mm-hmm. Um, and people need to understand when they say, as a writer, they don't have anything to write about. You can write about anything, anything that you are going through, anything that you see, anything that you experience. Our business name is entitled Black Authors Rock. That does not mean that we do not acknowledge other authors. That means that we're celebrating ourselves. And
Yes.
yet, we have so much racism that is hitting not only the business, but hitting me personally because they're like, well, who are you? Why are you wearing a Black Authors Rock shirt? Why can't white authors rock? Or why can't others rock? And I'm just like, you know what? This has to be not only written, but this needs to be expressed. And, you know, being a minister, sometimes we have to sugarcoat. Mm-hmm, I'll say that word. Sugarcoat some of the things that we say. Um, or do or dress or you know. And so we're gonna have to do a part two conversation because this may not be book appropriate, but and I'm just gonna touch on it really quick so people know what the second interview is gonna be about because as a minister that is also a writer we can write about those things, but as a minister we are taught um, to be a lady, to put the dress on, to cross our legs, to wear neutral colors or no
To look the
makeup.
part.
Yes, it's a certain way that we do it.
Hmm.
And I remember one day sitting at the bookstore, and I really don't work the bookstore, but I realize when I am there, God always has me there for an appointed time because it's always a conversation that needs to take place or somebody walking past that needs to be ministered to. And I had my hair out, and my hair is red. And the young lady said, "Oh, I love your hair. I could never do that because I'm a pastor. I love your nails because your nails are red, and I can never do that because I'm a pastor." And my outfit had all type of colors in it, and she was like, "I have to be neutral because I'm a pastor." And I just looked at her and I said, "Well,
Poor
where is
thing.
that in the Bible that you read? Where is that? In
It's
what
not.
book did you pick that up?" And so that is another book that needs to be written, hmm because who told you that? Who put you there?
Hmm.
Who put those shackles around you like that?
It's amazing that you would say that because the one of the main heroines whose husband is dying in the beginning of the book, she grew up a pastor's kid. And when she met the second husband, who the first husband actually set it up,
Yeah.
his cousin, she met some women and she realized just how shallow she was as a Christian,
Mm,
how boring she was, how contained she was. And she thought, wow, I really haven't been living.
right.
I've just been existing in Christ.
Huh.
And
Yes.
so they kind of break her out of her shell, and she realized you can have passion, you can kiss your husband publicly, you can cut your hair, you can do these things and still be a pastor. It's okay.
And tell the people which book that is.
That is actually the whole series, but it really comes out in book two, I promise.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so we need that one really because I promise you, It had been when I dyed my hair red. Oh baby, um, it was fine when I had some little gold highlights in it, and I wore the French
What is it
manicure.
about red?
Oh, so I just need you guys to follow Minister, author Cynthia M. Harris. One, because she speaks the truth, she's written the truth, she's walking the truth. And one thing that I have learned very, very near and dear to my heart is that we must walk our truth and be unapologetic in who we are
Yes.
as women, regardless to what title. I know people will say, well, oh, you are Dr. LaTracy and you are, Pastor LaTracy and you are this and you are that. And I said, yes, and all of those titles. I enjoy wearing a skirt with my legs out. I enjoy the nail polish. You know, I enjoy the red hair. I enjoy being cute and sexy and saved and tasteful, and single. And so people are like, wait, what? And I said, you know what? I had been married, and I love the concept of marriage, and when the
Mhm.
Lord send them, okay, I'll be there. But until then, I'm going to live
You're
in the
enjoying it.
yes, I'm not going to just exist. And I realized that I existed for years. And because I did not know, because of the box, because of what
Exactly.
I thought it needed to be. So I love the fact that your book is
Exactly.
speaking to the relevancy of not only that part, but just
Hmm.
in life in general.
It's so much in it.
Oh my
It's just so
goodness.
much. I mean, it's rape from the pulpit, gang violence, uh, drugs, alcohol, fatal attractions, all these things that when we become Christians, we give people the impression don't happen to us.
Oh, right.
Well, our lives are perfect. I don't want you to know that my child is homosexual. I don't want you to know that my son is dibbling and dabbling in drugs. I don't want you to know that my cousin is drug kingpin. Things that we don't want anybody to know. Well, I had abortions, or we just hide behind what we think people expect the church to be. But that doesn't get people delivered. It doesn't get them healed. It doesn't get them set free. Getting them set free is seeing you on the other side of through. That's what
Yes.
gets them set free. And then you go on back and tell them the process. There's not very much in this book that's not my life, this series. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
That is so true. Writers normally create, and business owners also create what we are or have been. So tell the people how they can reach you.
There's several ways. My webpage that we just revamped recently is www.tosotministries.com. You can find me on Facebook at author Cynthia M. Harris. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at WriterCynt. That's WRITTERCYNT.
Awesome, and we will make sure that we put those in the link below. I am so proud of you. I
Thank
am so
you.
proud of you.
You're
Um,
amazing. I just got to give you a shout out. It's just, and I don't want to get emotional, but I have been writing since 2010, but I've just recently began to get excited about it in the last few years. It was so much opposition, and there was so many people that were afraid to tell someone how to be successful. They were afraid to share a platform, especially if you were in the same genre. And I just did not understand why, especially as African American and as Christians, that we couldn't help each other.
yes,
So I want to thank you for the platform that you're opening up to people who do not have a large audience, that you are willing to share your audience. Now you have to invest in yourself. I'm not saying that you're going to do this for, oh, just go do this. No, get what you're worth. But I just want to say to you, thank you so much for opening up the platform and allowing authors who may not have been able to get outside their community to get outside of their community. So thank you so much for what you're doing. We see it, we appreciate it, and we love you, and we're behind you.
I appreciate you. I truly mean, it's been many a days where I'm like,
Forget this.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's been many days. I'm like, mm-mm. One young man sent me a message and said, I would love to be trained by you, but you always teach late at night. And I said, well, you have to understand my demographic in the group is more active at night than they are in the morning because they
Hmm.
work. And he said, oh, I said, not everybody that is active is off work during the day. And he said, oh, I said, but I know my demographic. They work a nine to
Hmm.
five. And he said, oh. I said, and I can tell you which days they're there the most. And he said, really? I said, it's called research. And the man was like, what? I said, I offer training. My team offers training. But I understand we can't do training during the day.
Hmm.
Our people are not all off work during the day. They don't have that set up yet, but they will eventually.
Good.
And so he was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, I would love to work with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now that you see that I know my research, I know my
Hmm.
numbers. So, there's going to be obstacles, but I say keep going. Um, you have 7 books. Let's talk soon about how to get your other books in the
Yes.
mail. And yes, once we open the second location in May, I would love to have all of them.
Yay.
Yes. So um, we will go from there. If you guys are watching, please share this broadcast. If you have seen any part of this and it resonates with you, please reach out to Minister Cynthia M. Harris on all the platforms. We will have her links below. You please be encouraged, especially those who are in ministry. Know that you are not alone. Know that anything that you have done, whether good, bad, or indifferent,
Hmm.
you truly are not by yourself. Because if you think you've done it, it's already been done. The book has already
Already.
been written. I'm telling you, it's some things that if we opened our mouths and told you the things that have been done that only God knows, I promise you, you'll be like, oh, okay, I can make it. You you can be loved. You will be loved. God loves you. We love you. The support is there, and I promise you, if you decide that you want to write your story, there are ways. Minister Cynthia just showed you there are ways to write your story without necessarily telling all your business.
It was funny you should say that. And I told my family, I said, if you guys don't say anything, no one will ever know that you're in the
I'm trying to
book.
tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
And most of them aren't. But I just wanted to say to them, just in case you feel like I'm writing something similar, it's really not you. It's just the idea. If you don't make a big deal about it, no one will know.
I'm trying. Yes, yes. Don't get guilty. You get guilty, people be like, oh, that was them. Yes, they will never know your dirt unless you come out and say it was you. Yeah. I love it. I do. I love it. And see, and I am so free with my testimony. People are like, wait a minute, you've done that? I'm like, yep.
Hmm.
They're like, well, what is your last name? I don't have one. I'm like Prince. You know, they're like this girl. I'm like, listen. I'm like Prince. Mm-mm. I'm tired of living somebody else's last name. I'm living my truth. It's me. Whatever. So yeah, I I'm so silly. But thank you so much for this opportunity. I
Thank you.
appreciate you. I'll definitely be in touch. And if there's anything that we can do, please, please, please let us know. You have contact information, email. I believe you even have the phone number. So either way,
Yes.
reach out and just let us know if there's anything that you need. Much success to you. And I look
Thank you.
forward to reading all the other books that you have on your platform and creating an opportunity for them to go global.
I am writing a book now. It's my life. And it's still going to be fiction because I have to change so much, because you don't have permission from people to actually use their information. And it's going to be titled From Abortion to Anointed, The
Mm.
Journey of a Serial Killer. It's, yeah, it's pretty intense.
Y'all caught that right. I said this the other day in the community. There are some people that write some stuff and they say, well, oh, I need assistance with publishing. And I'll say, you know what? There's nothing wrong with publishing your work, but it's the way you do it. Because you can tell your business, just don't
Hmm. Hmm.
don't get yourself incriminated.
That's
So
right.
yes, yes, yes. So I'm ecstatic about reading the
Thank you.
next one. So awesome. For those of you who are watching, please share this broadcast and connect with Cynthia Harris. And thank you again. I appreciate you. You guys connect with Black Authors Rock to not only connect with her, but also to find out all the amazing things that we're doing in the community. And I will talk to you all soon. Keep rocking out. I'll talk to you soon.